what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
All right, we bring you into the Squared Circle Digest. Sean Stanley here in Miami Gardens. AEW Rampage kicking off. Smackdown off the air, so that means the Squared Circle Digest. We jump on here. A lot happening just now on SmackDown. Brock Lesnar returns, takes out the whole bloodline. Riddle loses his match to Roman Reigns. And now, apparently Riddle doesn't get another shot at the title, by the way. But also some part of me, I guess the cynical part of me, Vince McMahon starts SmackDown. He comes out and he says, he does the tagline, then, now, forever, together. And then throws the mic down, welcome to SmackDown, and then throws the mic out. That's all he did. I cannot believe that was all that. I think he must have got talked out of something, because there's no way Vince McMahon was going to come out there and just do that. I do not believe that McMahon would do that, what he did there on that. And also part of me being cynical was, I believe Brock Lesnar rushed back into also because of everything else, because now try to get his name out of the limelight. Now Brock Lesnar returns, hoping people will start talking about that. Brock Lesnar returning, laying out the whole bloodline instead of talking about the Vince McMahon saga that is going on right now on Rampage. It's Dante Martin and Jon Moxley starting a pretty good Rampage card. Going real quick, just go through some of the SmackDown real quick, and then I want to get into the McMahon. There's some Randy Orton news, also some more stuff on the Hardys and the AEW Tag Team Championships. So tonight we saw McMahon kicked it off. Then there was a good Riddle promo. I just feel like, man, when he talks, sometimes to me, he lays it on a little thick there with the love for Randy Orton. It's almost like, man, I wish Randy Orton would come back and just RKO him now and let's in the love fest. But it didn't happen. It was an okay promo. It got across what it wanted to do. It got the crowd involved, chanting the Randy Ortons and everything else there. Last laugh match. Hopefully it's the last match between Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin. Looks like they're kind of going in the direction of maybe Happy Corbin and Pat McAfee. I don't know. There was a thing there at the end of there. Madcap Moss got the victory. And then Happy Corbin kind of turned his mic and anger toward Pat McAfee. Then McAfee kind of instructed the crowd to kind of laugh him out of the building, and that's kind of the way that ended. New Day against Jinder and Shanky. Yeah, no, Heath Finns. I'm going to get into that in a minute. I'm going to come back to your question here, Heath Finns. I thank you for that, the comment there. New Day took on Jinder and Shanky. I want to see a new tag team. I want to see Shanky and Otis, the old Otis, with Shanky now dancing. The big, tall guy, 7-foot guy dancing, the fat guy dancing. I think it's a great tag team. I think we should try to do that tag team and see how that goes. Shanky and Otis. Not sure what we call them, but we had to figure out something else. Natalya cut a pretty good promo on Ronda Rousey. I like the way, I'll be the first person to make you tap out. The Sheamus Drew segment, again, gearing up toward Money in the Bank. We're about 2 weeks away from that. And then they had the women's Money in the Bank. Raquel Rodriguez qualifies. Lacey Evans was on the broadcast, and of course, Riddle Reigns closed out the show. A good showing by Riddle, but I thought maybe they would go with like a disqualification or something because, again, one of the stipulations was if Riddle lost, he never got another shot at the title. Well, Riddle was pinned, so I'm guessing he doesn't get another shot, at least as long as Roman is the champion. That is. I'm sorry. That was put in there. That caveat was put in on the Riddle matchup. Now, since Heathen brought up, I feel like Randy will turn on Riddle when he comes back. Some things have come out with, and again, it's, Fightful, who is very good at reporting and getting things. Apparently, Randy Orton been dealing with a back injury for quite a while, may be forced to have surgery. And if that does happen, he's probably going to be out of action the rest of 2022 and some of 2023. The program that you actually saw tonight was originally slated, or at least was being pushed for Randy Orton and Roman Reigns. So, but Riddle got put into that spot with the injury to Randy Orton. So, Fins, I don't know how soon Randy Orton will be back. I thought it was more of a storyline type thing. Let him heal up some little nagging injuries. I didn't realize that his back was as bad as apparently it was. I mean, he apparently had to get work done just to make it to the unification title match that they had with the Usos there. So he was not doing in a great shape, but he was still performing as only he could. Because, I mean, again, man, Randy Orton's a constant professional. I mean, yeah, he had his time when he was younger and all that stuff, but, man, since he, has taken on that role being the veteran in the locker room, you can definitely see the maturity levels and everything else. And also, it showed right there, going through the pain and still being there. Want to go over a little bit of the Vince McMahon timeline of some of the things that were happening. The Wall Street Journal, I don't know how many have seen the reports that had come out about the Wall Street Journal. And those, Heathen said, should have been a false count anywhere match between Drew and Sheamus qualified for money to make missed opportunity. Yeah, but I'm really tired of seeing Drew and Sheamus go against each other. I get it. Maybe a false count anywhere. You can throw some new things in there, some wrinkles. But at this point, and then plus right now, there's just, I don't know what the Money in the Bank match is going to look like. This might be one of the first ones. What's up, Steve Chapman? Jinder. I don't know if there's going to be a breakup. I don't know if there's going to be a breakup between Jinder and Shanky. I think ultimately you're going to see probably Shanky win over Jinder and something there. I believe it's going to, at some point, I think it might look like it's going to be a breakup, and then somehow they end up working it out, and you're going to see a different side of Jinder, possibly. But back to what you were saying, Heathens, I don't know which way they're going to go. It was a missed opportunity, I guess, if you want to look at it that way, to add another match. But I mean, they go at it all the time. At this point, I wish they would have just brought out, and I wish they would have really just flipped the coin. Heads, Drew's in, tails, Sheamus is in, and I would have been fine with that as well. But yeah, I mean, as far as for TV match, yeah, I mean, they did, I guess, miss that opportunity there in Minnesota. But again, I think everything tonight was geared toward, I think they wanted to see how many people tuned in to see Vince come out to start the show, and then also see how many people are talking about the show afterwards because of what happened with Brock Lesnar returning. And by the way, it was Cowboy Brock returning, Cowboy Hat Brock returning. So that's a good sign there. That's going to be some good TV entertainment. Heathen says builds momentum too. It does in a way, but man, I don't know, man. At this point, I've seen enough Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre. If you want to bring over Seth and maybe what they could have done is had Drew and Sheamus wrestling, whatever, and then have Seth come in and interfere. and then just say, you know what, you're both now added. At least then it would have built more toward the Money in the Bank since Seth is already qualified. Something like that, maybe, but I just I'm over all of the repeat of what they do in WWE. I really am. I mean, the Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin. I mean, Madcap Moss is now 3-0 against Corbin, but they still run it back. I get it. There are, you know, I like the KO, I like the Ezekiel, I like the Elias. I get they run that back, but it's building to something. It's just, to me, I've seen what Drew and Sheamus built to us for a title match, and then, you know, and things like that. So I'm over that. Steve says, excuse me, McMahon's appearance was a complete waste of time. Kind of touched on it, Steve, real quick. I don't believe that was the original plan for Vince McMahon. I think some people got into his ear and he listened. He actually listened to probably better judgment, because I'm sure he was probably going to come out there and do his little strut and probably say some stuff that he shouldn't say and all that. And I know there was a lot of people, and Fightful kind of reported on this, was that there was a lot of people that didn't even want to see him talk. They don't even want to see him. There was talk that he was in an okay mood backstage. It was business as usual. That's kind of how they're going along with this. It's this kind of business as usual, you know, which is kind of just, I don't know, man. I've never been in that type of environment where, you know, but again, I want to get into a little bit of some of this stuff and just give you some of the Wall Street Journal, the tidbits I took away from it. Vince McMahon, again, WWE is a publicly traded company. And it said Mr. McMahon effectively controls the company. WWE securities filings show he owns a majority of the company's Class B shares, giving him a majority of shareholders' voting power. The Class B shares have 10 times the voting power of the Class A shares available to regular investors, and are owned exclusively by Mr. McMahon, his family, and trust benefiting individual family members, the filings show. It says board members learned of the $3 million agreement in a series of anonymous emails they received from someone who said the former WWE paralegal was a friend. Now, if you can try to remember some of these dates, I'm going to try to go through it and keep the timeline, because I find it odd, the Stephanie McMahon stuff involved in this, okay? The board members learned of it. It said the first email sent to board members on March 30th alleged that Mr. McMahon, 76-year-old, initially hired the woman at a salary of $100,000, but increased it to $200,000 after beginning a sexual relationship with her. The email to the board also alleged that Mr. McMahon gave her like a toy to Mr. Laurinaitis. Now, remember, that date is March 30th, okay? So when you go back in April of 2021, when WWE was doing the budget cuts, that is when the paralegal got the $100,000 bonus. That is around the time she got the bonus. When they're doing the budget cuts, releasing the wrestlers and people in WWE because of budget cuts, she got a $100,000 promotion or a raise, however you want to look at it. And then also that spring, she was promoted from John Laurinaitis' assistant to a director role within the company. It went on to say, my friend was so scared, so she quit after Vince McMahon and lawyer Jerry paid her millions of dollars to shut up. The initial email to the board referring to Mr. McMahon's longtime lawyer, Mr. McDevitt, who negotiated the deal, according to people familiar with the board. It goes on to say, kind of went into Mr. McDivitt's record. And again, he was the one who represented Mr. McMahon during the WWE 1994, steroid trials. The board of directors are doing this investigation. There's 8 members of the board. There are 4 members that are not involved in the investigation. It is believed to be Nick Khan, who is heavily involved with WWE, Stephanie McMahon, Triple H, and Vince McMahon himself. Those 4 are not on there, and I got a list of the 8 that are involved. The directors received a copy of the $3 million agreement from one of Mr. McMahon's lawyers on Sunday. One person familiar with the inquiry said the non-disclosure agreement provided an upfront payment of $1 million to the former employee, with the remaining $2 million to be doled out over a period of 5 years. People familiar with the deal said. And then it goes, again, it goes into some of the other things that they said. One of the things that I found interesting was the reason this story kind of came out was because when the board started investigating in April, they unearthed other older non-disclosure agreements involving claims by former female WWE employees of misconduct by Mr. McMahon and one of the top executives, John Laurinaitis, the head of talent relations right now at WWE. Again, so when you're looking at this, there are others. It says right here, the board's outside counsel is still collecting information about the other NDAs this week, but has determined that the payments totaled in the millions of dollars. So this is for former employees, WWE female employees, and otherwise. This is on top of this. This is where kind of some of this other information's coming out. Now, one of the things that I wanted to bring up was they said the first email was sent to the board March 30th. Stephanie McMahon took her leave on May 19th. The investigation began in April. Stephanie McMahon took some time because she wanted to spend time with family. And then, of course, this morning, Mr. McMahon stepped away from the CEO and chairman of WWE. And Stephanie McMahon has now stepped into the interim role as CEO and chairwoman. Again, it is an interim title. Vince McMahon has not totally stepped away. He has stepped away for the length of the investigation. That is the time. That is how it was worded. Okay. Some people are saying the reason that they're putting Stephanie in the interim role was so that Vince McMahon can show shareholders and maybe people that are interested in purchasing WWE that he's still in charge. How true that is, again, he's going to run the day-to-day. He left himself in charge of WWE Creative, which you saw tonight. He put himself on SmackDown opening the show. So the day-to-day, nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change because Vince McMahon is still on there. My understanding, too, was they ripped up the SmackDown script before they went on air. It was kind of like, oh, see ya. Which is why I don't believe Vince was originally going to just go out there, say the tagline of the company, welcome to SmackDown, throw the microphone and leave. I think he was coming out to strut and maybe possibly do, the heel McMahon character. And I think probably smarter heads prevailed and got him to listen to him and allowed, what you saw there. Was it a waste of time? Maybe, but that could have been a ton more worse than what you saw there. One of the other things that I wanted to, the board members that are running the investigation is it's an 8-member board, and I will apologize now. And then also remember when Stephanie was Stephanie didn't take over the creative side though. She's only the interim CEO and the chairwoman. Vince McMahon kept all creative. Vince McMahon let no creative go. He's still running the day-to-day creatively. He's at TV. You saw him tonight on TV. He hasn't let any of the creative go. He has not let any of that go. One of the interesting things that was kind of, this was on Forum, Stephanie announced a leave of absence to focus on her family. WWE had issued a quote at the time stating that they hadn't achieved the growth they wanted with her in charge, which led to rumors they were trying to bury her on her way out. So she takes leave in May. They released that, and now she's back as the CEO, interim CEO, and interim chairwoman. Again, and this was it said, while Stephanie was aware of Vince's situation when the investigation beginning on March 30th, it said it was not related to initial decision to take a leave of absence. So again, she was the brand. She was the brand manager of WWE. How do you manage the brand of WWE if your father is, the main story of there? How do you control and try to keep the brand from getting any more damage if you're the daughter and your father is, under investigation for paying $3 million in hush money for an affair that he allegedly had? Again, maybe it's me being cynical. I feel like that has more, I'm not going to say that was the main reason she went and everything else, because it's obvious that there was some, friction there with Stephanie and some others. It's been reported she doesn't get along well with Kevin Dunn. Nick Khan is kind of taking over her roles on the day-to-day. She did, in her statement, say she looks forward to working with Nick Khan and others at WWE. But again, when you start looking at it, it's a mess. However you want to look at it, it's a damn mess. Now, how the board looks at it and everything else there, what happens to Vince McMahon? A lot of people are saying John Laurinaitis will be gone, but he's the only one I've heard nothing about. Many believe John Laurinaitis will be the scapegoat. Just like in other instances and things like that, there's always the scapegoat. And many believe that will. But there are people saying that this is probably the biggest opposition for Vince McMahon in WWE since the steroid trials. How deep does the board do? Again, they said they're going to send it out to an independent law firm. We'll have to see how that goes, how that turns out. And then the whole thing is he's still in charge of creative. So what is he really, he just doesn't have the title of CEO right now? He's still handling the creative side. And I get it. It's his company. It's his, everything else there. It's just like, man, you hear the stories and again, there's been more stories way back when, again, you look at recently, right? Mickie James got her stuff in a garbage bag. And apparently that was the way they kind of sent everybody's gear back to them or anything like that, just in garbage bags. And then Mickie James stated something on it. And again, there was a scapegoat. That person was let go. That person was fired. And now we're at this situation. And I honestly, again, this is me, Sean Stanley talking. I think Vince McMahon was going to come out and boast on SmackDown tonight that the federal government couldn't take him down, that and his whole spiel maybe turn into some type of angle on SmackDown or however you want to do it. And they were like, Vince, this is a terrible idea. Don't do it. And somehow they got it through to Vince to not do that. Because I don't see that Vince said, you know what, guys, I'm just going to go out and I'm going to tell them, welcome to SmackDown. Our 4 words are then, now, forever, together. Welcome to SmackDown. And then I'm just going to leave. And then we'll just go on with the show. For what? To show that you're not scared of, the investigation? You've shown that by just saying, hey, I'm going to put my daughter in charge and she's now the interim CEO. I'm just going to step aside, but I'm still going to do every damn thing. Because he owns the damn company. He owns everything. He owns the majority. I mean, something's got to be done, though. I mean, if this is what is going on every damn day in this company, again, I get it. They're independent contractors, but they're still paralegal. They're still staff that work in Stamford, Connecticut that are not independent contract. How can this be a freaking healthy workplace environment? How is a publicly traded company not more being done? I get it. If it's privately owned and things like that, maybe. But you're talking about a CEO of a publicly traded company with these allegations. And they even say in the report that they unearthed even more non-disclosure agreements as they were doing it that added up into more of millions of dollars. So at what point do you say, hey, you know what? We've got a problem. No, we'll just let him step aside and we'll say he's no longer the CEO and he's no longer the chairman. His daughter, who left the company less than a month ago and had a statement issued that she was not properly, what was the wording here? The company hadn't achieved the growth they wanted with her in charge. You didn't get that in the company, but no, now she's the interim CEO and the chairwoman. No, I'm not bashing Booger. I don't run around here in a diaper there, T-Moose. Calm down, buddy. Justin Wally says, I think this company doesn't really want to entertain its fan, encourage them to tune back in. They only keep the hardcores this way. But that's where I think you're wrong, because their attendance, AEW puts on damn show after show, and their attendance shrinks on TV. WWE is growing, not leaps and bounds growing, but every week it's going up in increments, whereas AEW is going down. So while you think more people wouldn't be tuning in, it's not showing that way. And I agree with you. I don't think they care. They give two shits about what they're putting on TV. That's evident. They don't have to sell pay-per-views. I've talked about it before. You go to Peacock. You pay $4.99 a month. You get every pay-per-view of WWE. Why should they care? Let's see. Josh Sean, what up? Just finished watching SmackDown. What a match by Riddle versus Reigns and the Return of the Beast. Yep. And I'm glad he's wearing a cowboy hat. Cowboy hat Lesnar is the best version of Brock ever. So hopefully he, definitely is one of the things. But as I was saying, Justice, they don't have to care. They don't. They're not trying to sell pay-per-views. Steve said, looking forward to Elias and Ezekiel. Will Elias have a fake beard? Will Kevin rip off the beard? Will Elias and Ezekiel appear together? Does he have a brother that can step in like the two Undertakers? See that, but again, that's the one that they've got people to invest in. They've got people to invest into that angle. It's loony. It's crazy. But Kevin Owens and Elias, Ezekiel, whatever the hell you want to call them, have shown that they can entertain, and they've invested. They've got people to invest in them. Oh, yes, you're correct. That's right. I think I just saw it come across, actually. It was confirmed that Dave Hebner did die today. So my condolences out to Dave Hebner and his family. And yeah, the two Hebners, that was great. That was Hogan, and was that Hogan and Andre as well with the two, or no, who was that? That was Hogan, and I remember DiBiase was the one that paid him. Dude, if they get Damian Sandow, that would be pretty damn good. Josh, if that's where they're leaning, again, man, guys like that, those guys are entertaining. Iron Sheik's still alive. He's still telling people to F off on Twitter. One of the greatest Twitter follows of all time there, T-Moose. That was, Hogan and Andre. Okay, yeah, I thought so. I knew $1 Million Man was involved in it, and that was the whole issue there. I just thought about this. Let's see, who is this? Fortnite is bad. Just thought of this. I believe it might actually happen. Seth is going to win Money in the Bank, then cash in on Roman and Brock all over again. The heist of the century, part 2. You know, man, dude, why not run it back? That wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean, again, you need to do something like that to get the belt off of Roman, I think. With the way you have built up Roman, again, I get that Brock's back and I get all this stuff, but you've built Roman up so much. It's got to be one of those things where, you know, like you're saying, Roman and Brock beating the crap out of each other. Seth comes in, cashes in, does it. That wouldn't be a bad way to take the title off on for a while. Let's see. When Hogan was pound, but had his shoulders up after. Yeah. Duke, what's up, my buddy? Let's see. Cap for Life. What is going on, my man? Steve Chapman. I guess you were correcting something. What were you correcting? Pinned. Okay, pinned his shoulder. Yeah. And then one other thing I wanted to go over here too before we get off. Everybody knows Jeff Hardy got arrested for DUI. Some things coming out of that was during the Double or Nothing pay-per-view weekend, there was a couple times where he appeared. This was Fightful reporting that some of the talent at the hotel were saying that he was intoxicated publicly there and at the lobby of Talent prior to another event. And then his performance at the pay-per-view was cause for concern. AEW said it was a head injury. No, and we can't refute that, by the way. I'm not saying it was, an intoxication or anything else like that. But because of the performance of Jeff Hardy at the pay-per-view, they had already set into motion that the Young Bucks were going to win the ladder match and not the Hardys before the arrest. Before the DUI arrest, they had already put in and changed the finish because of what happened at the Double or Nothing pay-per-view as a just in case with Jeff Hardy, because they were seeing signs, I guess, that they saw. And of course, I mean, yeah, everybody knows Jeff needs help. I mean, he definitely needs help. Sometimes, man, it's just got to hit rock bottom to figure out you need the help. And again, one of the things I've said, and I know Booker T kind of said AEW is kind of on, deserves a little bit of the criticism because they have him doing all the moves that he's been doing every week. And for like 4 straight weeks, he's jumping off of balconies, he's going off the ladders and things like that. And unfortunately, I think he got back into self-medicating again. And again, when you're an addict, it's not something that you can just like turn on and off. And I think he's falling back into that. Now, is that AEW's, fault or issue or anything like that? Again, that's one of the things that I've said about AEW. One of the good things that they do is they allow their talent creative freedom. But I also think that's one of the issues that they're going to have to, they have issues with, because when you do, it's why a lot of their matches are a little herky jerky as well. Because when WWE, when you're training at WWE, there's a reason you go to NXT. You go to NXT to learn how to wrestle for the camera. You're trained. You don't get bushed up until you're done there. And that's one of the things you're seeing with a lot of the AEW. There's things happening not toward the camera because the camera can't be everywhere. They don't have as many cameras. They have a lot of cameras, but not as many as like WWE production. So, but one of the things they were saying with Jeff Hardy was that, what Booker T said was, they don't stop them from like, hey, Jeff, this week, let's not come off the balcony this week. There's no need to. There's no need to in a 6-man match against Butcher, Blade, and somebody else for you to come off of a balcony and go crashing through tables. We don't need that this week. Save it. I think more of that needed to be done in this instance. Again, less is more in some things, but if you watch that video, it's freaking sad, man. It's sad. And a lot of people, they're trying to confirm, because in there he said he was heading to a doctor's appointment to have his brain scanned. Nobody has been able to confirm whether that's true or not. Nobody's really said either way on the people that I know that have tried to reach out. It's been kind of radio silence. AEW has taken, and Time Warner or Warner Media has told them Jeff Hardy is removed from all promotions, everything else there. But AEW took the step and said that he's not allowed, back on TV or anything else until he checks into rehab, which apparently he has accepted, judging by the statement that was released. And if you have a chance, go listen to The Life of Extreme Hardy. He talks about addiction today and a little bit there. I haven't listened to the whole thing yet, but he talks about, living with addiction or a family member with addiction and things like that, man. Knock on wood, he gets the help. And fortunately, this just, apparently he was driving erratically. I believe it was 95. It looked to me like it was 95. I don't know if there's another interstate up there. I was looking at the signs and the things like that. I know a lot of the Florida roads had that anyway, but it looked like it was 95 there. And and he was driving so slow. Because again, he was intoxicated, but 4 911 calls on him. And it's just, that could have ended a lot worse. Steve Chapman said, before you go, did you change your schedule? I missed the last couple of weeks looking for shows on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday after wrestling out there and missing shows at the time. Yeah, I went to Tuesday and Thursday, but then with the trip and getting back late Monday, there were some times, but today is a special show I went on just because Vince McMahon said he was going to go on and talk, and really didn't do anything. It really didn't say anything. I saw somebody up there talking about, did Vince McMahon say anything? I think, let's see here. I forgot where it was now. Somebody said that he was supposed to talk. He came out, he said that the tagline of WWE when they come on air was then, now, forever, together. Welcome to SmackDown, and walked off. So it was one of those things. But to get back to what you're saying, yeah, I'm trying to do Tuesdays and Thursdays. But we'll see when there's different things going on. It just, the one after Monday at 11 o'clock was just too late. And then I'm getting up. And yes, it'll be Tuesdays and Thursdays going forward. And I'll do them at 8 p.m. Eastern, if that works for majority of it. Miami Sports Fanatic, hope to catch you guys in Vegas. Yeah, we'll be up there. I get there the 7th. I think O's there the 5th. I think we're there till the 15th. So we will definitely hook up. And I know O went on the show last night and had some good shows last week, man. Tuesday, little OJ McDuffie. I liked it. That was good stuff. Sorry, just looking at some other things there. I'm trying to look at some of the notes here that I have. AEW is doing the Forbidden Door. That is, I believe, June 26th. You know what's funny is, I think AEW Forbidden Door is it June 26th or July 26th? It is on June 26th. That is very interesting, because then WWE Money in the Bank is on July 2nd. Never mind. I thought it was the 27th, actually. So it'll be this Saturday and then the following. Still brushing up. Dude, I'm gonna have you, you guys are gonna have to put me an intro song together for here. I'll come in with the ukulele. I ain't worried about that. Hey, any other questions you got, make sure hit me up on my Instagram or Twitter at Sean_Stanley11. Of course, you can email bigodradioShow@yahoo.com, or you can hit me up at Sean.Stanley1102. And then at gmail.com, I'm sorry. Just put down Squared Circle Digest, anything else like that. And then I will answer it. I promise you. So what do you think will happen to WWE? Will start to fold? No, WWE is not folding, man. WWE is not folding. I think, honestly, they have the people in place. If Vince McMahon was to get, excused or whatever that is, I don't know if it's fired. I don't know, whatever that is. And happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there too. Sorry. Thank you. 6193. It won't fold, man. It won't fold. In some places, I think it'll grow. Some places, I think it might trail off a little bit, because Vince is very good with production. Creatively, things like that, not so much. Will it fold? No. I think WWE's been around for forever. Again, it was WWF, then WWF, and then WWE. And you have to also remember, it's more than just wrestling now. They have entertainment, movies, they got music, they got so much other stuff. WWE is now more than just wrestling. It actually is entertainment. But again, I appreciate you all. Again, have a great weekend. All the fathers out there, happy Father's Day. Everything else going on, man, just respect, love one another. And I appreciate and love all the support I get every time these shows are on. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. That'd be over here, actually, right? The bottom of my heart. And I appreciate y'all. And until that next time, and in the words of the great Gordon Soley, say them with me. I know I can't hear him, but say them with me. So long from the Sunshine State.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-48